Hello, this is Scholastic Sam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today on the topic of conic sections, we will talk about ellipses. So the equation for an ellipse is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. If it's not 1, you need to divide to get it equal to 1. Now h, of course, is the x value of the center and k is the y value of the center. Now a and b, they're not necessarily under the x and the y, because this one part's the x, that's the y. A and B aren't necessarily there. A is under whichever one's larger, or A is whichever one's larger, and B is whichever one's smaller. So if the ellipse is larger horizontally, A will be under the x minus h. But if it's larger vertically, A will be under the y minus k. So yes, A is the distance from the center to the vertices on the major axis, and b is the distance from the center to the minor axis endpoints. They don't have any other name besides that. Now here is finding the graph from an equation. We see x minus 5 squared over 9 plus y minus 3 squared over 4 equals 1. We automatically can tell that 5 and 3 is the center, so we go over 5 up 3. We put a point there. We see that it's over, we see that 9 and 4, and 9 is greater, so 9 must be A. And we see it's under the x, so we know this one's horizontally oriented. So it's under a squared, so we take the square root of 9 to get a, and you get a is 3. So we go 3 left and 3 right. So we plot a point at 2, 3, and at 8, 3. So that's a 3, 2, and a 3, 8. That's supposed to be 2, 3, and 8, 3. So we plot points there. And we see from the center, b squared is 4, so we'll take the square root of both sides. We get that b is equivalent to 2. So we go up and down 2, and we get 5, 5, and 5, 1. So we draw an ellipse there, you get your graph. You try to connect them. Try to make it look similar to an actual ellipse, like don't make it like lines, okay? Now, these are the parts of the ellipse. The major axis length is 2a. The minor axis length is 2b. Now, the foci are points on the major axis where you take the center and you go plus c or minus c, either on the either horizontal or vertical, depending on which one's the major axis. And that will help you find the a and b. Now, horizontal, as we just said, the orientation is either horizontal or vertical, depending on the major axis direction. Now, C helps you get two things. A and B through this equation, C squared equals A squared minus B squared, and also the eccentricity, which is really how ovular it is, how different it is from a circle. That's gotten from C over A, and you'll get some decimal. Now, the domain, of course, is the lowest x value to the highest x value, and the range is the lowest y value to the highest y value. And you know that C squared, the distance from the foci to the center, equals a squared. The distance from the a is the distance from the center to the vertices, and minus b squared, which is the distance from the minor axis endpoints to the center. Let's look at finding the equation. Let's look at this. We see that immediately it's vertically oriented, so we know a squared is going to be under the y and b squared is going to be under the x. We see that the center is at 2, negative 7. So we know x minus h, x minus 2 squared, and y minus negative 7 is just y plus 7 squared. We look at our vertices, we see they're at 2, negative 2, and 2, negative 12. So the distance from that to the center, negative 12 to 7, is just 5. So we know vertically are under the y, which is a squared. We know that's going to be 5. So a is 5, and a squared is thus 25. The minor axis endpoints, we have 6, negative 7, and 2, negative 7, which stray 4 from the center. So we know b is 4, and b squared is thus 16. So we get our final answer is x minus 2 squared over 16 plus y plus 7 squared over 25 equals 1. Let's find the other parts of the graph. The major points. Well, a is 5, so major axis is 2a, that's just 10. B is 4, minor axis is 2b, so that's 8. The domain, let's see, the negative 2 is the lowest x, 6 is the highest x, so that's the domain. Range, negative 12 is lowest y, 2 is the highest y. So it's negative 12 to 2. It's obviously vertically oriented. Let's find c. Well, we get a squared, which we knew was 25, minus b squared, which we knew was 16. So that, you just get 9. C squared is 9, then c is just 3. Eccentricity, c over a, is 3/5. Now, the foci is the center plus or minus c on the major axis. And the major axis is this vertically, so going along the y. So we know the y values are going to be changing. And it's the center, so we know the x value is negative 2, and the y value is negative 7. But that's changing, of course, plus or minus 3, because you go 3 up and 3 down to get the foci. So you get the two foci are on negative 2, negative 10, and negative 2, negative 4. Okay, please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment section below. We do take requests for videos. Thanks to my math teacher, Mrs. Barrett. Please join us next time when we discuss conic sections, hyperbolas. Thank you guys. Goodbye, and always remember, knowledge is power.